I love the taste of food in this green sweep of sun-touched hills, the fruits that came from it, and the earth we sat upon. Yet I know beyond the cold shade of that valley dark soldiers wait, embittered by their task of death must turn toward the reddening tide.
We lost each other when recruiting ghosts took their soily hands onto our love, while creatures black poured deafeningly round our house that crumbles to a whispering sea of woes.
Is there nothing we could do to give this sweet existence willingly, and thus respring the coil of their mortality?
I fear that even angels and the like must answer to the giver of their flight.
And what responsibility has he to watch us charges from resplendency?
He calls us silently in beauteous soliloquy.
I wish he'd shout in a way I'd understand, and reign in knowing o'er our cracking land what we have lost, and what we shall regain in his companionship beneath rain.
From his terrace clouding o'er the sky, he'll see flash gunfire as we roundly die, and lift the shroud from off his cold white face, as we, his dirty accidents, reach grace. And we will ask the angels when we pass, why cannot the sky be hewn of glass, and can we not but dream above its mass?
There is much beauty slaking our resound, the apple's sherbet and the olive's gland, and we will fall forever for the bribe and magic of this coloured life. You hear it?
What?
Electric cannons in the Crackling Glade.
Do you think we'll step back into their hearts?
I dare not spin the killer's karmic wheel. See those pylons? Stand like a million stacked and broken crosses. They are our churches now. What do you say we whine and find a while?
These clothes give me no warmth. How pink I feel in War's Academy. In moonstruck marriage to a hero's wife. And now I've seen the cold blood spray from friends onto the brown fields of truth. Now we may end. And if I could just see my Kimberly. To tell her that we loved belatedly, and all the time we wasted on a kiss we should have earned to free ourselves from this. You don't see rich men dying here, crouching in the shade of fear. Only us, and stools like us, amongst the excrement and pus.
I've seen a child here beg to die. I saw that young girl lose her eye. I've seen a colleague coughing shit and ate the stench that came from it. I watched a city sucked into a pin as powdered windows glittered in the wind, and nothing I've seen here can help me forget her crying blood.
The satellites are passing low again. Their silver shells turned on their heads, depicting war as dreams to generals sat discussing us as rats. That I'm sure your educated eyes turned from long before mine. Why, pray tell, are you here amongst the light that turns in half an hour tonight?
It isn't always easy just to walk, to flee from all the structures and the talk. In my life, reason falls to family. Our children that have died historically, for people landlocked apathetically. You must have felt the duty once yourself to be here sat upon the devil's shelf.
The more I think of why this cankered land has trapped us to its blistered, cratered sand, the more I weep upon my family's fate to split and burn upon our worldly grave. There's nothing I can begin to do to ask forgiveness from the love I knew.
See those charred homes, grey beneath the moon? All that they surround is far from you. All their frightful histories you avoid by breathing in the privilege of choice. Although we lose collectively this war, there are small victories to be had, I'm sure. And we may yet see all the streets we've walked. And we may dance as fitly as we've talked. And even if the hero's shower's parched, we'll grip our deathbeds, emperors of our art.
You give him tools for carving out a boot from this feud's wooden box from foreign roots. There is no king or country can defend a battle raised between men and heaven.
Kim,
Broden, how are you? Have you seen Daniel?
you are a sight amongst the madness. I saw him in the glare of the canal, exchanging rations for the next campaign. It was a strange atmosphere that day. We lost a lot of friends, I will not lie. The night before I saw him was the worst, as only flares could light the corpses' faces. Men I schooled with in their drowning places. He looked strong, though. The strange music played. On War's faces, mournful tears it made, and we did not progress much on that day.
You paint a mural that I'll take with me into my heart, into its backward dreams. With your words, I will build a vault of hope and walk vicariously by that bright canal.
I hope he sees you in that screw of light. White hope sprigs the fire-crimson sky. Our burning land is not so fiery fierce to force that gallant legacy from you.
We see the glow flaming in the night. It warms our skin from scores of miles apart.
Those weapons of chemistry made life death in their alchemy. And that heat you feel is burning towns. The lee wave of man-made volcanoes grown amidst red and less fortuned cityscapes.
Sprint, Matthew, sprint!
I'm stung! Do not rest! I can see the welk in my breast!
Come, we'll step from this spitting line, all right?
Carry me there, onto the blue-black plain, and you may loose yourself with me and on.
No.
I fear this role may be my last.
You'd be inhuman if you didn't.
I wish I was, so that I couldn't. You think the rescuers will on our signal fall?
I think the rescued numbers will expeditiously fall, as scars of rampant gunmen slice through them like a land of husks. And fight on, saw in their lost loves the chancelled fervent heart's ungratefulness, and display on their faces joyous pride at having all our nation's pelts slopped at their side.
Remind me not to turn for comforting.
I'm sorry, old and prodigious friend, I have not quelled first bitterness with age. There are so many seas I have swam, so many joys I had hoped to plan, and yet on an itinerary of death I'm half conscripted to my family's wealth and to king's duty to kill first and turn heads to pomegranate first. There is no sustenance in fruit of death. Our nation succors with its sugared wealth and sends our best to their warbling end, while death's false-named industries forfend.
You'd think it weren't me, bleeding in the dark, bent doubly gurgling neath the mouldering bark, as each excruciating breath steals value from my health.
Then shush, shush. I can hear the whir of our battalion's heavenly churn, the caterpillars scribbling in the sod, the dictate of our God. Yeah, and on the chains they ride, with the angel of the fire hearkening for our safe hide amongst the dark cast of gloom outside. Brace your whelp for home, Matthew, and the discharge owed to you. We're here, we're laying here, our green-topped friends, amidst the purple heather and the fens.
Ah, that I might steal this beautiful hour, to be less man, more human, and lay on down our nation's hate condoned.
To stone one's countenance amongst the dead, raise oneself assured amidst flowering flames as each man's frightful fate blackens the skin, laces with red rivers eyes of kin. I'm thwarted if I even think it thought.
Thus Daniel marks the front lines for you both, and troops afore the grey face of the moon, calling on it for the sight of you. And when the man of silver bows his head, and in his new moon's mystery darkens your bed, you will see fair Daniel walk a lamplit street on the electric causeway.
I do hope.
The mad mind sorrow does its missive thwart, as Sally's Matthew struck for this night's cause. The dove of life did flutter from his heart. Your Daniel carried him through burning peat, as troops to rescue them were doused in heat. He escaped, though, as all hell rose around, and demons came to take 200 down. It was a night of carnage and remorse that we would avoid if just we could. But there were many plays yet on with audience more affluent than ours.
I can't abide this torture anymore. Scraping from my soul its remnants last. Daniel, hurry home. Just hurry home.
Not eating?
It sticks my throat like paper stars and glass.
Okay.
Perhaps you'll justify something. Why did those smart shirkers in their fear lead Matthew across that fateful weir? To kick for shore in suicidal tides, and why, upon our skirmish, did we find resistance more reticent than blind?
There is no doubt that all our generals choked on everything this caustic wars evoked. Ne'er will we recover from the bloodshed, and long will we recall the stink of the dead, but from the ruins we must build monuments, shaped tall as schools and theatres of joy, and libraries of history and truth must spin out across the world, empowering youth. We will find our heaven in this hell. Erect a flawed utopia and keep it well, and there, heroes like you will plant its flower, or for children's child to clip and scatter wild.
If only we could store these fractured hours in the sun-topped vales of our thoughts. And take hands together, far from storms, far from famine's grasp and thunder's call. There is no time for us to sit and look unto dynasties of old, for if we lie down in the glade of thought, our heirs slight futures from us walk.
Artillery's rumbling bird curls wings again, spreading on the night its ominous din. Our families in their beds with sealing prayers are wanting just to breathe once more their share. And each new dappled shadow on the wall, products of moonlight and the fanciful, they hope marks the objects of each day, and not the reaper with his blackened blade.
The reaper's fit to bursting with his horn, like the guns that eat men and boys, and the governors who watch and dine, ordering troops to reinforce the line. And when the quakes of cannons break their glass, they'll snort down at the sickled wine that was, and wafting knobbled fingers across their lips, they'll yawn scarlet spittle out to their tips. And when our waiter comes to clean the mess with tears, sidling for the same significance, our chivalrous leader, with the towel the matron passes, will his bloodlust jowl.
Station city side, I saw your kin, reeling at the soldiers killing kin. Whizzing churches dark, devoid of him and the turmoiled sanctuary therein.
How was she? What did she say? I wish I'd seen her any of these days.
The truth? There is something darkening in her eye. Like a room lit by a failing fire, the tropes of her persona flare and wane from lover's joy to woe's despondency. She's seen us fight as strippers carrion from the frightful eve our charge began. She abounds in lucid memory of families charred by electricity. All who see her drop to death. And now, as fortune's favour makes its play and washes both us and our enemies, she's scared the tide of night will drown the day. Evoke Atlantis in our lost cities. They can taste mercurial salted flesh.
All our hopes caught in a broken sound, and you should know the hangman's trail. Come, let us still the pain of translucent gods and scream at trickster's sport in heaven's lot.
On this night of coiled infinity, our futures, past and present, float to me, redistributing time in quarks and wires, fizzing twixt the physicists and liars, and structuring our dreams as rampant needs for which we all open and gently bleed, till the court of lust spreads vengeful youth, armed with new disdain and flowering truth. But look about. The cutting conflict swirls, eviscerating legacies of worlds and masquerading spite as honest hope. And love's twins, pain and empathy, fused in perfect melancholy. We'll caterwaul atop the melting globe until event horizon's darkest mouths filter lost all continents and clouds that mesh meandering in a multiverse, spattered blue with nevi as they burst. And all our mangled mimicries of God repudiated as a theory odd, scattering our incidents with years and the noble reticence of tears. To all the twinkling rash of morning stars, festooned twixt worlds of fleeting love, like ours. Manufactured light of our exalted town, amidst the massive ironworks and vaulted sound, and each nuance of masonry grey sky blocks hold, purples up like apples burnt in florid mould.